Is there? I just finished up re-editing the tip I got from Rory Still on our talk, and so I was like doing the template. I went to go post it. The video was all small. I'm like, oh man, now I gotta go redo this and re-put this out.
Right, right. You see, when it comes to the video side of any media and that kind of thing, I'm only recently becoming aware of how important the size of the video and that kind of thing and all that. Like I'm a novice at it. I get it because my brain can get it, but I just had no idea of the importance of it. Especially when it comes to like animation and this sort of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's filmed in this and then you try to reproduce it or put it out and it's not in the right format or whatever, it messes everything up. That's how you get half screens or some bad copies and shit. Again, man, it's not my area of expertise. So I'm just stuff.
Yeah, I'm just getting back into doing the other stuff. Like I did a lot of freelance multimedia. Like when me and my wife first got together, I was running the hood with flyers and posters, putting them on everybody polls or whatever to get that in. But
right, to get your
then
footprint.
after a while, yeah. So now it's like I'm doing the art, but I still got all these skills to put to use. So it's a different monster in a sense.
Right,
Like
right.
And that's why I'm reaching out to like who I feel are the creators that have really got their hands on the pulse of the craft, so that we can build more people who are like who had a foundations.
Right. I'm with you. Right now, I'm actually my book is finished. So right now what I'm doing, so right now like what I'm in the, like you said, the colorist, which I'm paying out of pocket, and then of course, like you said, the rest of it just formatting and that sort of thing, So
Got it.
In the process of doing all this, I was, you know how it is, I go back and I find a page and say, well, in the process of waiting for these colors to get done and samples to come back, I might as well do whatever touch-ups or whatever. There's a page I would like to do over, might as well so I can put out the best possible product ever. I did
Facts. In fact, for the people who will be tuning in, give them a rundown, name, title, publication company.
Okay. Like you said, well, my name, I'm Cliff Hatchett. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, my IG. I'm going to be posting there again with some kind of regularity. I had pretty much stopped for the most part. Just concentrating on the work because it can be tedious. So that's it. I got so when it comes to the project itself, it's actually the project. Or am I jumping? I don't want to jump ahead. Am I jumping ahead of you or anything like that?
Oh no, you giving me exactly what I need right now.
Okay, like you said, the product, the name of the comic is actually the Climaxians, and it's under Anarchy Comics. That was me and my partner. You know how it is when you first want to do a book, or you say you get this idea. I think we pretty much, at least I did. You get this idea where he's like, hey, I'm gonna do comic books, and so of course being Marvel and DC is probably what got all of us into it. Maybe Milestone if you're a little bit younger, And so with those being the inspirations, you like that craft, you like that genre comics. It's like everybody has the idea. I'm going to make my own comic book, my own universe, my own characters, and everybody's going to love it, And then you kind of find out like, they don't necessarily love everything, you know what I mean? And so it's a lot of it is finding, I think, just finding that niche you think that work, and then also just staying true to yourself or whatever that thing is that you're passionate about, whatever the story may be. If it's superhero based, science fiction, love, horror, whatever it is, that it's just that sequential art and that format is something I always fell in love with. And I think it's the best form of media as far as putting a story or anything out there. It's nothing like it. You know what I mean? And for another thing is there's no production budget. You can literally do everything. You know what I mean?
Right. I always tell people like, you're really creating when you got to start with the physics. Like,
right.
If your story is like, these people are walking on the ground, but this ain't Earth. This isn't our universe. How are they doing this? What are the physics like? Because that sets the tone of what everybody can do.
Hey, look, that's one of the things I swear to God, man, I swear we don't talk enough because I love talking about that kind of thing. Because I thought for a long, mind you, I'm on an island here. I don't know any other nerds who think like this or into it as much as I am. As you see, I'm kind of long in the tooth. We both got gray hairs on our face, doing something we love. You know what I mean? But it's it's like you said with the world building. What I did is to make sure, and I probably do this a bit too much. to make sure that you know what world or what environments. I am a stickler for backgrounds, because like you said, this story has to take place somewhere. A lot of times with our medium, you'll see an establishing shot, and then the rest of it will be if it's not a fight scene, it'll be a bunch of headshots and this sort of thing with no discernible background. So it's kind of like, if you can suspend your disbelief, or maybe the story is that engrossing. But for me, a lot of times, the visual is equally as important as the actual story itself. So I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah. So speaking of which, before we get into your personal process and thinking about how you like to build things, what are some of the things you've read and seen that actually like built your I'll say your mental reference for how you put together your stories?
Oh man, see, I swear I had every single thing written out. But to answer that question, like, what are my influences? So I would have to say, you and I probably know each other first and foremost through our art, and then found out, hey, we're comic book nerds. So the first thing that had me pick up a pen and art as far as this era was Godzilla. It's like 5 years old, so I drew Godzilla. I used to watch it with my grandmother, and I had a gift. She knew I could draw, and so before you know it, I had crayons. And I was drawing this green monster destroying whatever movie I saw on this particular Saturday. As time went on, of course, being a young man, a young fella this time, I was probably like 5 or 6 when I first started drawing, 4 or 5. And then of course my older cousins would see that I was into it, and so they introduced me to comics and this sort of thing. And then so when you're in school and you have a comic, you hook up with another friend and he's got a comic and you keep going. And so I fell in love with the actual comic book medium with the X-Men and my introduction to the X-Men universe. As a matter of fact, it was, you know how it is, you know who Superman is, you know who Batman is, you know who Spider-Man is coming up.
Yeah.
And then, you might be you know what comics are, but it's that one where you finally get into, I'm collecting this, I like this. And of all things, it was the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, during the Chris